Cuban protesters are not giving up, and as they demand freedom from a communist dictatorship that's making their lives miserable for the last 62 years. But in a new op-ed on FoxNews.com, our next guest says Cuban Catholics should feel betrayed by the Pope, who they say hasn't supported them strongly enough in their fight for freedom. Fox and Friends weekend co-host Rachel Campos-Duffy joins us right now to explain. Good morning to you, Rachel.
Good morning, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so the Pope, just after his surgery, he's out, he issued a statement, but you feel, and he is always sided with the poor, concern for the poor, things like that in the past, but you say he should have gone further.
Well, it's not just me. You don't have to spend a lot of time with Venezuelans or Cubans or even Chinese Catholics, for that matter, to know that they feel very betrayed by this Pope. Wherever there is poverty and distress and lack of freedom because of communism, his response is weak and next to nothing. In this case, it took him more than a week to say anything about this with the crisis in Cuba. And when he did, he said, I stand with you, I pray for you, let's have peace and dialogue. Really weak response for somebody who, as you said, claims to have all this solidarity with the poor, but it's very performative. He gave up his fancy papal vestments because he said, he wanted to signal that he's with the poor. Well, who is more, impoverished and in need of support than the poor in Cuba right now? They are living in abject poverty, and the people who are responsible for these conditions are the Communist Party, and the Pope refuses to say anything about it. And by the way, the Communist Party leaders eat lobster. Go on the internet, and on my piece, I have clicks to that. They're eating lobster while the people starve. This is very, very bad stuff. And also, it doesn't make sense. Why would a pontiff stand with Marxism, with communism, an ideology that is so profoundly responsible for the murder and persecution of Christians in Cuba? If you're a little child who goes to catechism class, you'll be barred from going to university in the future. Those are the choices that people have. Religious leaders are surveilled and harassed. Communism, Marxism, socialism, these are very anti-Catholic, anti-Christian, anti-religious ideology. And it's just really sad to see the Pope really become an enabler, an apologist for the Cuban communist government, which is brutal and evil.
All right. You can read her op-ed at foxnews.com. Rachel, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Steve.